The best way to improve your photography is to shoot weird and different images. This is how I improved my portfolio. This is how I increased my knowledge. I've been doing this for many, many years. You don't get any better by just shooting the same stuff with the same lighting and the same composition all the time. You need to do something different. I'm going to show you many ways to stretch your photography knowledge in this video. Now, the weird photos may not always work out, but you learn something every time you try something different. Come out of that comfort zone. Every time you come out of your comfort zone, you'll learn something. You'll learn how to do something, or you'll learn how not to do something. The weird images may not turn out. That's fine, because failure teaches us more than success does. Next time you try it, you'll modify your technique and you'll have something new in your portfolio, in your repertoire that you can do. You're growing as a photographer every time you shoot weird images. Shooting weird images is fun. Weird images can really make a difference to your feed or your portfolio. You can alter or refine these techniques or use them together. There are a lot of different ways you can learn from shooting weird images. But as I said, most importantly, shooting weird images makes you into a better photographer. If you can master weird images, then basic images are easy. I encourage all of my students to shoot something weird every time they go out to do a photo shoot. Whether they're shooting landscapes or pets or people, once you've got the shots in the can, once you're happy with the results that you've got, use a little bit of that extra time to shoot something weird, something different, something that you haven't shot before. That's the way you're going to learn. It could be camera movement, it could be subject movement, it could be different, unusual lighting that you've never done before. Try it out and see. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't turn out first time, because you've already got those shots in the can. You've got nothing to lose. Here are some of my weird images. Some of them are really weird, some of them are just a little bit different. But every single one of them has taught me something, taught me a new technique. Let me know in the comments if you think they're weird or if they're not, or any weird techniques that you might have tried that have helped you grow as a photographer. At the end of the shoot, I'll often do some jumping shots. It just releases the tension a little bit. It's a little bit of a reward for people for doing the right thing and putting the effort in to get the shots. It makes it fun. It finishes off the shoot on a positive vibe, and people remember it because of that. They leave on a high. They leave the studio on a high. Now, it takes a little bit of practice to get these jumping shots, particularly out on location, but using a flash is a big advantage. I do this at weddings as well sometimes. This shoot that I did with my son Samuel in front of the bonfires. He was great. He put in the effort, even though, he's a boy, he doesn't like doing things that his dad tells him, but he did a great job. So at the end, we did some shots for him, some jumping up and down shots, some shots with his uncle. It made the shoot a little bit more memorable for him and made it more fun. The shots aren't particularly things I would stick in my portfolio, but they're great for Samuel to have. I also keep an infrared filter in my camera bag all the time. So when I get to the end of a shoot, if I'm in a location that's suitable, which is lots of foliage, bright sunlight, then I can shoot a few infrared shots. I usually have my tripod with me or in the car because these are long exposures. These are 20 to 30 second exposures. So you need to have some sort of tripod, some sort of camera support to be able to shoot them, but they look different. They look weird. I love them. And my clients love them as well. We did this shoot, a fella came up from Sydney, he wanted some physique shots, just some cool images of himself, some black and white. So at the end, he and I got together and thought, we'll do something out there. We'll do a screaming shot. I got up above him, got him to look up, did the scream. It looked fabulous. I reversed the image and did a little bit of Photoshop stitching, and I love the final result. Screaming shots always work well towards the end because people have been a little bit more subdued in their photo shoot generally. These shots of Stephen I did. He's an actor. We did an acting portfolio for him. And towards the end, he wanted to do something creative and something a bit out there that he could use. So we did it. We used some double, triple exposures. We used some multiple flash. We used the plastic bag around the back of his head, and it worked a treat. It's great. Screaming shots, angry shots, anything that's a little bit different, just to finish off that session. Sometimes things happen when you're shooting. Weird just happens. So take advantage of that situation. If anything comes along, shoot it. Try to make an image out of it. Try to create something different that you've never done before. We got to this shoot with Lauren at the power station, and some vandals had burned down the office area that we planned on shooting in. So I just used it. It ended up being a really strange sort of location, a bit of a weird backdrop, but it worked well. When I was shooting Shay down at Valentine on the jetty, I was shooting a little bit enthusiastically, as I normally do, and I often don't give my flash enough time to recharge. So every now and again, I would get a silhouette image, and it turned out to be really, really good. And I really love those silhouette images. Down here, the same location with Paige, we were shooting some shots on the jetty in a photography class, and I used this silhouette technique that I had made a mistake with earlier on to create this image of Paige with the sun coming through. Silhouettes just work so well. Depending on your location, you need to try and keep your subject in profile, but silhouettes can be amazing. I shoot a lot of silhouettes in various different locations, and it's different, it's weird. Shadows as well, same sort of principle. Have your subject in profile so you can see the profile of their faces. I do a bit of photoshopping on some of them to match them up with two different facial expressions and angles. The shadows in this image, or the shadow, is opposite to where the girl was. I reversed the shadow in the image so that it looked a little bit different, looked a bit unusual, a bit weird. The blue-tongued lizard. Casey came in for some portfolio shots. She had Surge here, which is her pet blue tongue, and we decided to do a few shots at the end. And the shots we did at the end, I think, were the most memorable for me, the ones that I loved. Bubbles. I always work with bubbles, love working with bubbles, big bubbles, little bubbles, all sorts of things. So if you shoot enough shots of bubbles, you're going to eventually get one that's bursting. It's not an easy thing to do. You can't plan for it, you can't time it. But every now and again something will happen and you get a memorable image. Something that's a little bit different, a little bit weird. When you're outdoor shooting, just have a look around your environment. On these two occasions, my model was a little bit late, so I just used the environment, did some shots, and I got some beautiful landscapes, seascapes out of it. I was doing a shoot in town, some street photography shoots with a class that I was doing. And this girl just walked up to us and asked if we could do some photos of her. She's an influencer. She had this fabulous pink outfit. She had her little puppy with her. So we did a few shots and I sent them off to her. These sort of things just happen when you're out and about with your camera. The same jetty location down at Valentine, one of my favourite locations, doing a shoot down there with Layla, and people kept walking past. And there's a little bit of an interruption. You know, you have to wait every now and again for someone to walk past and get all the way down the jetty. But I decided to use it in the shot. It took me a couple of goes, but I was able to synchronise the flash with the people walking down the jetty, and I created an image that's just a little bit different. When I was doing this shoot with Layla and her dad for their CD launch, we were shooting these shots at sunrise down in Nobby's Beach, and the surf club decided to have a bit of a run along the beach. So rather than just stop and let it happen, I shot it as they went past, and it created a bit more of a memorable, a little bit of a weird image. So try things, keep an eye out, keep an open mind. Anything that happens around the environment can sometimes create something a bit different, something a bit weird. Weird can sometimes just pop into your head at the strangest moments. You're halfway through a shoot, you're really going well, and something just pops into your head that you think, wow, what if I tried this, or what if I tried that? As long as it fits in with the results that you're looking for, or it doesn't interfere with the results that you're looking for, go ahead and do it. Lighting. With the Marshall reflector and the shadow of a photographer, using a mirror tile to light Maxine against the wall. All of these things just makes things a little bit different, and they give you ideas for future shoots. A lot of these techniques I'm going to be doing a video on in the future, or I've done one in the past, so search through our old videos. A lot of these techniques are explained in there. We're doing a mirror shoot with LED lights in the studio. And the hand mirror just worked a treat because we got the LED light reflected in the mirror back onto the models' faces, and it looks great. A little bit of camera shake with Maxine when we were doing our location shoot at night. A little bit of a jiggle with some flash creates something different. This shot at the Great Northern Hotel, I wanted a hard light, so I moved my speed light a long way back, away from the subject, so that I got those hard shadows from the security grille on her face. I had to be careful to try and get that light on her face properly, but it worked. It's weird, it's different. Shooting with Claire, down at Valentine. Doing a class down here with that great moody sky in the background. The last couple of shots I wanted to slow my shutter speed down. So I set my shutter speed to about a 40th of a second so that as Claire moved along, we got that shadow of her moving through with the slow shutter speed. I wanted to use front curtain sync because it just looks that different. Everybody does rear curtain sync, front curtain sync can look amazing. Same with Layla, 20th of a second, those little bit of movement, little bit of shadowing on her hands just makes that shot look a little bit weird. So try this camera movement. Try to get some movement in your image. It works with flash or it works without flash. It's a matter of just trying it and seeing. This shoot with Paige, we did some amazing portfolio shots with Paige. But towards the end, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to push the boundaries a little bit. So we did these shots, some double exposures with a bit of movement in it. I blended two images together. All of these techniques will come back to help you later on when you're struggling to try and find something a bit different or a technique that's going to lift your work up. Get out there and do it. There's so many things that you can do. For this shot, we were doing a late night slow exposure shoot with Maxine. So I thought if I get her to lean out the window of the car while it's driving along, I leaned out the passenger side. This is all done at low speed in a car park, so it's completely safe. We got a great image. It's not perfect, but I can build on it in the future. I can try something a little bit more refined later on. The bodybuilder, when we were shooting him, we were lighting him from above to show his musculature. His head was down, so his head wasn't lit. His face wasn't lit. It looks like he's headless. Straight out of camera, that's the way it happened. A light painting shot here of one of my clients years ago. This was done with a slow exposure. You can see the movement in the shot, but it looks good. I like the fact that it looks different. Various different colors over the torch. We're doing a powder shoot, a ballet shoot. And later in the day, because there's a lot of powder in the air, the light, the sunlight coming through the holes in the rust holes in the side of the shed created these beams of light. So I took advantage of it and shot it. It took me a little while to get it working properly, but the results turned out fine. So anything you can do to make your shots look different. Reflection shots. Think about the direction that your flash is going to be facing. The flash needs to be turned around facing the subject to get the reflection in the dark surface that you're working in. And viewpoints. Get unusual viewpoints. Don't shoot everything from your normal height. Get up high, get down low. This last shot of Sarah at the obelisk, I put my camera on top of my light stand and held it up as high as I could, 3 or 4 meters in the air with a wide angle lens. It looks like a drone shot, but this was taken 20 years ago. You can plan weird photos and go along to your shoot expecting to do something like this. A lot of these images that you'll see now are images that I planned. I could have planned them for years and years. I've got books full of ideas that I haven't tried yet. It's this shoot that I did with Matt. It was a photography class. We were shooting physique photography. So when we finished the class, I left the lights in position that we did for the last shot that we did with Matt. And then after all the students had gone home, I went into the studio and did some shots of myself in that same orientation. I knew that I could put my head onto Matt's body, just as a bit of a comical thing. It doesn't look perfect because it's a 60-year-old head on a 26-year-old body, but still, it's done for a purpose. It looks comical. Photography doesn't always have to be serious. These shots again, a little bit of fun in these images. Rather than drop a strawberry into a glass and shoot it with high-speed flash, I just dropped myself in there. I didn't really. It's a collage of a couple of different shots, but it works. I love it. The shot in the studio. This was during lockdown. I was very frustrated because I couldn't do anything. I'm at home on my own in the studio. I couldn't get anybody in or I couldn't go out of the house, so I wanted to shoot my uniform of the day. This is my work clothes for that 2-month period. I had my cup of tea there. I drank a lot of tea in that period, so I wanted to record it and I thought it would make a great shot. I think I look pretty good, don't you? These shots here, I used cling wrap across the front of the lens with various different holes cut in it to allow a sharp image of Louise's face and various different out of focus areas on her body. Shooting through the cling wrap still gives me an image, but it doesn't give me a sharp image. We also experimented with a bit of movement in the shots too. You can collaborate on weird. with your subject, or with an assistant, or with somebody else. Two heads always work better than one. So if you're both on the same page and you both want to create something a little bit different, all the better. Some of my clients come in with the most amazing ideas. Some of my assistants that I'm working with can suggest things. This first shot of the party bus, the driver wanted some body shots, but he also had a costume in the bus that he wanted to use. And I thought it looked great. It looks comical, it looks unique, it's different. It's in my portfolio. These next shots at the Great Northern Hotel, the interior of the foyer was very dark. I was using flash, but I didn't have a tripod with me, so I took advantage of that and used some slower shutter speeds to expose the room properly with flash, and I did a little bit of camera movement again, just to make shots look a little bit different. The seagulls in this shot, because the shot's taken from a tripod, the bride and groom are quite sharp, but the seagulls were moving as the shutter speed was around about 10th of a second or so, 20th of a second. We get that blurring, that ghosting of those seagulls, which looks really great. Any of these shots, attaching the camera to the car. I've done that on multiple occasions. I did it years and years ago, didn't work out well, but I've refined it over the years so that I can pretty much do it on call anytime I need to. This one here with the bicycle, the camera was attached to the back axle of Charlie's bike. It's a thing that you don't particularly want to do if you've got a $5,000 camera, but my cameras doesn't matter. My cameras are only cheap cameras, so I just attached it to the back wheel of the camera, attached it to the back wheel of the bike and got them to ride along. I fired the shutter remotely and we got some great images. So give it a go. Slow shutter speeds, camera movement, a little bit of flash, it works great. Props can create weird images or different images. This first image, I was doing a wedding shoot with Isabel and Cruz, and this puppy came up to Isabel and she thought it was adorable, so we asked the owner if it was okay to get a few shots with it. And it worked great, something a bit different. This beauty shoot that I was doing with a young lady in the studio, I always have this set of bars and various different bars and grates in the studio that we can use to shoot through. We just did a couple of shots with that, and another shot here with Amy. Tulle or fabric can look amazing with shots as well because it's translucent. You can get it in various different colors. I have a large box full of tulle in the studio that we can do various different things. And collaborating with your subject for ideas and working with them, you can get some fantastic images. These bits of timber I found years and years ago, and I've kept them ever since because I just love the shape of this timber and the texture. I haven't really figured out a great way to use it, but we did these shots with Shana a couple of years back. They look different, they look a bit spooky, but I don't know if they're successful or not. And football. We did these shots with Doug. He loved his football, so we thought we'd do a shot of him with his football. Again, a little bit weird, a little bit different, but I love it. Sometimes your clients can suggest ideas. We were doing this powder shoot with Krista and a few of her girlfriends. Lighting set up with this rim light to do this second type of shot, and then she kicked some of this powder into the air. It looked amazing, so we set up a shot to do it again. It looked great. Her idea, my execution. Hair can look amazing, blowing it in the wind, wetting it down, throwing it, doing anything with hair. You're not going to get every great shot. You need to be careful of expressions on faces, but you can do some great things. So play around with this stuff. Take suggestions, try things out, see what you can come up with. Something a bit different. Maybe even shoot some behind the scenes shots. A lot of photographers, particularly on social media, are interested in how you got those shots. Just show them the environment that you're shooting in. It can make a standalone photograph. It looks a bit weird, but it can work. These are shots that not many photographers take. I do a lot of classes, so I'm often shooting my students in this situation, but it's really helpful for other photographers to be able to see the sort of environment that these shoots take place in. You can catch some candid moments. You can get some shots that are a bit more creative as well. I did this shoot, we're doing a natural light shoot with Cassidy, and my photography students were outside. I saw their reflection in the window, so I placed Cassidy against the darkness of the shadow of one of the photographers so that her face came through. If I placed her in the whiter area, it wouldn't have come through, and it worked great. I've seen so many YouTube videos where photographers' assistants have been holding something and looking at their phones and not paying attention. So I wanted to do a shoot like that. It worked out really well. I liked it. Bit of cooperation from the boys. And it's a bit of a weird image. Some of my assistants are a little bit over the top, but they have fun. The more fun you can have on a shoot, the better. So shooting behind the scenes, making sure these people get these images, and you send them off to them or you post them, just so that they get a feel of what it's like too, because often it's a valuable image for them to be able to have people see them in this environment, being shot in the studio, the way things are done. I have hundreds of weird ideas written down that I haven't even tried yet. In future years, I may get around to it. I hope so. If you have any weird ideas, please put them in the comments so we can all give them a try. I'll see you next time.